Hi, this is Tall, and today the topic is more about forgiveness and injury than anything else. I can't promise where it's going to go, you know. My understanding was, as of this morning, I was kind of asking, um, what do we want to talk about? What is the next thing that we want to talk about? What kind of inspiration, can I get towards going with this project? Because, quite honestly, sometimes I can't really. I've got so many different things going on that I don't really know where to begin. And this is the wonderful thing about having a relationship with a spirit guide, is that you can ask, what do I need that I don't know that I need? This sort of question. And the topic of forgiveness, and I think more so foregoing the need for revenge, is what we've come up with. And so that's, it's a powerful thing. That makes the difference of whether a person stops growing forward spiritually, I believe, or not, is whether they can forgive. And I personally, at this point, which is not necessarily saying that this is all correct or anything, this is just my own personal understanding at this time, is that forgiveness has more to do with releasing the self than it has to do with saying it's not a casual, oh, that's okay, it's okay, it's nothing, please, it's almost, if you, that is not forgiveness. That is a wimpy form, and that's a social custom that we have, unfortunately, in America. This, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, but I'm really not sorry. I'm guilty of saying this as a nervous habit. um, but that's not forgiveness. Forgiveness is not, I believe, it's not even a this never happened. It can result in that, in a sense, if both parties are completely willing to release this, whatever it is that happened. It can be the stupidest thing in the world to something huge. And um, I don't think the size and the gravity is really of any difference. I think the smallest little offense can become, like a huge sore that festers and can't heal. Speaking of healing, I injured myself today, and so this subject of forgiveness, I'm really a little bit angry with myself. Why did I step off of that thing that way, and I twisted my foot, and I'm probably going to have to do the, I hopefully not the ER thing, because I don't, it's just a waste of time. I know what to do at this point. It's probably broken, but now I have to forgive myself. I have to forgive myself for being so stupid and not stay in this place of, God, that was dumb. If I hadn't have just, if I couldn't have, if I just didn't walk out, back out to the car one more time to see if I left something that I thought that I left in there that I didn't actually, and that's that lack of connection with my spirit again. And I guess we all go through that. But sometimes you can injure yourself because of a stupid little thing like that, but then you have to forgive yourself too, because there's nothing, it's all about going forward. So I think that forgiveness, in this sense, is it, it allows you to stop being tied to with a cord to an event, for one thing. So you can actually go forward. You do it for yourself. You forgive for yourself. It, if someone has injured you terribly, and as a person who's personally been through a 10-year long horrendous domestic violence situation, which I was finally able to get the strength to get out of, it's, those kind of cords are really nasty and thick sometimes, and it's almost impossible. If your whole culture supports this negative image of you, how do you change your reality? It Going back again to something that my guide said to me that I will never get tired of saying, because it completely transformed my way of thinking. And it's a very simple yet very profound thing, and that is that you are who you believe yourself to be. You are. who you believe yourself to be, not who others believe you to be, unless you choose that to be your reality. Your reality is greater than your perceived reality of what's out there, and what you're projecting in yourself is ultimately within yourself. So it's who do I want to be? Anyway, I never get tired of talking about that, because that's my beloved teacher Ra'a taught me this. And one would say, why would you need a person from outer space to come and tell you something that's so common sense like that? Well, first of all, um, it's not about a person from outer space who came from someplace. He actually lives on Earth, but that's besides the point. This is a spirit who is able to communicate with me and connect with me. And if, even in this world, a good teacher and a crappy teacher can be the difference of whether a student learns anything or not, basically. A student can learn in spite of the teacher if they really want to, but what are the odds? Unless, I mean, I wasn't able to receive this sort of thing from human beings for whatever reason, because various different reasons. And it doesn't matter whether it came from a spirit that's in a body of this or a spirit that's in a body of that. That's really beyond the what matters. Really is the point that something profound was communicated to me that changed my life and my way that I look at reality and the way that I look at everyone, and myself included. So we want to try and go into a trance, and I want to see what Ra has to say about forgiveness. And one thing you have to understand about Ra is that I know a lot of things about his history, and not all of them were perfect. Many mistakes were made on both of our parts, just as in anyone in any body form. The the wisdom of this very old soul is it didn't come easily. And one could say, well, you just let go and all the light comes in and then but it doesn't actually work like that. You have to actually hang on to that. That's a moment in time, and then you have to work it out. And whatever container form and our experiences and all of this tend to shape our reality. So within his lifetimes and travels, there have been many challenges, and we went through some terrible things in the former life, and forgiveness was not an easy thing to do. Anyway, I want to go and into myself and ask for my guide to come and excuse me. And I'm going to I want to see what Ra has to say. I'm waiting for the sign. To speak is how to begin. I am telling you something that you haven't heard before. The idea of release that you haven't heard before. You've heard it before, but what I am telling you now is in a different form, and I think that you will understand this. It's my hope that you understand this. This is a very important part of navigating and skill, is to understand we have the magnetic ability to cling to and retain everything, or to release and retain nothing. We can be empty and know nothing. We can forget everything, or we can remember everything and be filled with everything. The attachments do not serve you. The attachments that serve you are the ones that you choose and that you value. To relive an event over and over again is to become aware of an attachment. My tall I'm giving energy. When you're aware of your attachments, you can bring energy in and you can release it as well. Think of it as a cord, and that's exactly what it is. And it can be removed and it can be taken down, and it will come back if you don't remove it properly. Removing it properly is not one time, it's many times. It's a practice. It's a daily practice. This is why we experience our spirituality as an again and again and again practice, again and again and again practice. I'm giving tall energy. So for me to tell you that I have struggled with forgiveness is correct. Yes, forgiveness. Things can happen that are so terrible. How can you possibly forgive this? You're traumatized by an event that replays itself over and over again. And this is not of your own choosing. It was not of your own choosing. The act of violence was not of your own choosing. You must release yourself, nevertheless. We should use a new word, is releasing oneself. Release oneself. One way that helps is to think of everyone as moving, navigating spirit children who are going forward in a time span and learning what they are allowed to and what they can perceive, and as much as what they allow themselves to as well. This is a more helpful way of looking at people and understanding things. This way, you can see that we're all operating with lack of what we have, as well as the fullness of what we have, our personal understanding in a moment of time. I would ask you for your own sake to please release what is anchoring you. I didn't expect that. Okay, well, I've got a lot to think about once again. Um, Thank you for watching and participating and whatever. It's beautiful, and my foot is feeling much better. I feel like I'm being surrounded by a warmth in this direction, and I think it's quite beautiful that he was sending healing to my foot the whole time in my body. I was literally getting a foot massage, and it's very, comforting to know that we have spirits out there. All of us do that care for us. And thank you again. Until the next time, and hopefully we'll all still be here, and everything is moving forward a little bit less weighty from attachments.